What's up guys, and welcome back to INTHESHOPTV. My name is Mike. On the last episode, we made some boxing plates for our custom step notches. Got those welded up, they're looking pretty good. We also made some custom coilover mounts for the top of our coilovers. We had to do some measuring, make sure we get our ride height. Got them installed, and right now the truck is sitting perfectly. On this episode, we're gonna make some boxing plates for the inside of our frame. If you remember back to a prior episode, we made a custom cross member. We had some new 4-link brackets. That's only welded into the top of the frame where we notched it out. It's holding fine, but I don't feel confident in that it won't need some additional support when that truck is moving down the road. So we're gonna come up with boxing plates for the inside of that frame, but it's gonna be a hybrid approach. Normally they're welded on the top and the bottom of the C-channel of the frame. We're only gonna weld the top portion. The bottom is gonna get bolted to the frame, not welded in. I know that sounds kind of different. We don't normally do that, but there's a reason for it, and I'll show you why. Okay, so these are the two areas that I'm gonna box basically inside the frame right there and inside the frame here, because we are only welded on the top and on the outsides of the frame and the back. So I just want to get some more metal on the inside of here to increase rigidity. You can see that that metal is pretty well pitted down there, and on the top the metal is still nice and strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make kind of a hybrid boxing plate to where it's going to be welded to the top here. We'll utilize those existing holes in the bottom and place a piece of angle iron and weld our boxing plate to that. Sure, it would be better if we welded it on the bottom too, but with the metal not having that much integrity and it being really pitted and rusted real bad, I don't think we're gonna get very good metal to weld to in the first place. And honestly, I don't wanna put much more heat into this frame, especially not worn metal like that. You run the risk of starting to blow it out and everything. So I think a hybrid approach to this will work out just fine. So there's a new company called Arccaptain floating around out there that got in touch with me, and they sent me this plasma cutter to try out. They want me to do a completely honest review on it. They didn't give me talking points. They want me to just be completely honest with what I think. So I'll take you up on that challenge, Arccaptain. We're gonna use this new machine to cut out our boxing plates for our cross member. We're gonna get into this Cut 50 plasma cutter right now. It's like our torch, plug adapter, ground clamp. It's like a carrying strap of sorts, airline. All right, so initial impressions, we'll go over pros and cons. I do like this kind of small size of it. I mean, for reference, here's the front of my hand. Yes, I do have big hands, but still, I mean, it is a normal human hand, and that kind of engulfs the entire front of it. I kind of like the black and red color scheme, and I like the big LCD display on the front. You've only got 3 controls on the front, which seems to make things pretty simple. You've got a knob here, a preference switch, operations mode switch. Moving down to the bottom, you've got your torch connection here. Oh, kind of a rubber protector over it. And of course, you got your ground hookup right here. Moving to the side here, they have kind of your regulator gauge mounted to the side, and then they have a regulator with a water separator in the back. Nice that they do have the piece of metal going over the control knob for the regulator. This way it doesn't get accidentally bumped or broken. So here's the regulator itself. They give you one of these quick connects. I guess that's what that airline is for. I prefer an actual threaded air chuck adapter because everything in my shop has that. I do like that the water separator is exposed, so you can get there and drain that easily if need be. Moving over here to the cord, I'm gonna say this is probably gonna be my biggest con as of right now. Gauging by the diameter of my fingers, I'm gonna guess this is 12 gauge wire. I'd like to see a 10 gauge wire on here at minimum. Big pro to this, I would say, is just that it's incredibly lightweight. If I had to guess, I would say that's probably, I don't know, maybe 12 pounds, maybe 13 pounds. I can see that being a really big plus if you want a machine that's portable that you got to move around. I think that would be a really big advantage to have something lightweight like that. Let's get this torch opened up and take a look at it. So I like the feel of the actual torch itself. It's really ergonomic and fits in the hand very well. It's a standard PT31 style torch. The good thing about that is that it means that these consumables are very, very easily found, sourced, and replaced for not much money at all. They're actually very inexpensive, so that's a good thing. Turning it around here, you can see the serrations in the tip of that torch. That's because this is a drag tip, meaning that you have to actually make contact with the metal, and then anything that kind of flows out the sides of those little cuts right there. If you're able to kind of stand off of it a tiny bit, if you can maintain that control, you will definitely extend the life of these tips and the consumables and all that. However, being that they're so inexpensive, it's really not that big of a deal to replace them. I'm gonna go ahead and get this connected, get our torch in place. Got a collar that screws on, and then you got your wire here, which is basically just your control wire. Just kind of snaps on like that. Here is our ground. All right, let's turn this sucker on. Oh, I like that display a lot. There goes our fan kicking in. All right, so operation mode, 2T and 4T. Basically 2T is pull your trigger, let off, that type of basic operation. 4T is if you want to pull the trigger and let off and your current still keeps continuing through the torch. We're gonna go on 2T, preferences. Preferences is another way of saying post flow. So you can set it for 5 seconds, 6, 7, 8, whatever, all the way up to 15. We're gonna stick with our standard 10. If you're gonna cut real thin stuff, you might wanna go down to 5. You don't need to stay on 10, or the torch isn't really running for that long, but 10 is kind of a good universal number for me anyway. Once you exit out of there, your main knob controls your amperage. So I'm gonna refer to a chart and see what kind of numbers they're giving for us. Another feature, I don't know if you guys can hear that right now, but the fan shut off, which is a huge, huge plus for me. A lot of these machines, they'll just keep running and running and running. It's really annoying. You gotta hear the fan the entire time. I don't know about you, I like things quiet, so I really appreciate the fan shutting off when the machine's just sitting idle and there's no reason for it to be running. So they didn't provide like one of those charts that tell you the suggested amperage and PSI and all that, but they do have one. If you look at this product online, on their website, they do have a chart that you can kind of print out and reference. I did that, I'll put it right here in the video. But one thing I noticed is that it just kind of recommends 50 amps or you know, one solid amperage throughout anything that you're gonna cut. There's not like a different amperage rating for different material. So I found that a little bit interesting. So I'm kind of gonna wing it, and all the PSI just says 60 PSI throughout every cut that you make. I'm gonna leave it at 60 PSI, and I'm gonna kind of tweak the amperage and kind of guesstimate the amps, I guess, if you will, and we'll see what works the best. I'm gonna take some samples of scrap and start cutting them and see how the machine performs. All right, so we've got 4 pieces of scrap set up. We've got everything from 16 gauge sheet good, real thin stuff here, 1/8 mild steel, 3/16, and 1/4. With the thinner stuff with a contact tip, traditionally you can hold straight to the metal and just drag without maintaining a distance between the torch tip and the metal. But in this case, we're gonna try to just gingerly hold it there. We're gonna start with 35 amps. We'll stay at the 60 PSI and we'll see how it does on this 16 gauge stuff. All right, so the machine is capable. It will cut just fine. The cuts themselves are a little sloppy, but I'm not using a guide. I'm just kind of rushing through them. So that's not the machine, that's me. But it does cut effortlessly through all this material. So I think we'll go ahead and set up our 3/16. We'll start getting our boxing plates cut up for our frame. So the plan is it'll be a short boxing plate, maybe from here to here, and it'll come up here and it'll kind of wrap around. We'll make a cutout, which is where the plasma cutter comes in, for the bottom of this cross member here, and we'll be able to weld that into the boxing plate as well. That's the plan for now anyway. Let's see how it goes. Looks like our frame from inside to inside, just about 5 3/4 inches. All right, so looking down here, I think, judging by the existing holes in the frame, I want to come at least 1 inch outside of them. So I'm starting there, and 1 inch outside of this hole puts us at about a total of 6.5 inch. So first things first, we need to true up our piece of experimental test scrap 3/16 right here. We have our piece clamped up. We're gonna cut just a square piece out yet that is the boxing plate itself. Then we'll take the piece over to the frame and measure up and make our marks for our notch where the cross member goes through it. So I had to go up to 50 amps full amperage on this to get a clean cut on it. So let's continue on. Okay, that cut a lot better. I didn't cut all the way through on this side. I let up the torch a little bit because I don't want it to fall off. We'll just snap it off now, but yeah, that's a much cleaner cut. Okay, so it needs to be at 50 amps for 3/16. That's pretty clean. pretty good. All right, so I got a piece measured. What I went ahead and did was I put 2 holes in each corner. I figured it would make more sense to make straight cuts and not have to take the torch and kind of jog around in one fluid motion and make a perfect radius. So I like to have radius corners whenever I cut metal to prevent cracking anyway. So it just made sense. 2 quick holes, and now I just do 3 straight cuts to cut out our piece. All right, so here's our piece with a tiniest little bit of boogers right there, which is no problem. We'll go clean that up with the grinder. But that is a heck of a lot faster than with a grinder, man. I'll tell you what. The other thing with the grinder is it would have been really difficult to make a square cut like this. You know, you can get down and you'd have to keep shaving and shaving and shaving and kind of wiggling pieces away with the blade, and it's just a lot of dust, a lot of time, a lot of effort. This is really quick. It's just a huge time saver. All right, let's get number 2 cut out. I got a good fit up on both pieces. They're just kind of resting in there right now. They're not welded in, or there's no angle iron yet. Here's the other side. So guys, off camera, I did go ahead and get those plates welded in. And as you can see, there's a piece of angle iron down here. I welded to the back of these plates and then threw both of them through the frame. So I didn't have to weld to this bottom crusty C-channel right here. So I can preserve the integrity of this frame metal. But these are nice and solid, exactly what I wanted. I also wanted to note, guys, they sent me this machine to review free of charge, but they are not paying me to say anything. And I really appreciate that they're letting me do that. They want me to be honest and tell the truth. Guys, all in all, I think this machine did exactly what I was hoping it would do. The major takeaways from this thing is that it's really light, really small, and really portable. That in and of itself reserves a good spot in my arsenal here in the shop. I think it's gonna make a really great portable machine. Guys, Arccaptain has been gracious enough to offer us a 5% discount for our viewers. So if you wanna buy one of these machines, if you go in the description field of my video, there's an included link where you can A, use the affiliate link, and yes, I will get a couple of pennies if you buy it. I'd appreciate it if you use my link. Or B, if you don't want to help me out and use the affiliate link, you can buy it yourself separately through the website, and there's still a 5% off coupon code that you can use yourself. I want to thank Arccaptain for sending this out for me to try. I really appreciate the level of integrity they offered when they said, hey, be honest, just try it out and tell us what you think. We want to know what you don't like or what you do like. That's a quality attitude to have in a company. I hope to deal with them again in the future. But all in all, guys, that's the Arccaptain Cut 50. I want to thank you guys for watching. Again, if you feel like buying this, please use that affiliate link code. It'll help me out a little bit, it'll help you guys out a little bit, and there's a coupon code for you as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.